Hey gang, Scott Davenport here. The continuing adventures of audio here in the studio. I want to thank everybody that responded to my last video and gave suggestions and thoughts and feedback about the audio quality. The mic being farther away, as much as I enjoyed it for freedom of my hands, the quality was just not there. So you can kind of tell I'm back to my original setup, more or less, with one minor change, a smaller footprint pop shield to make it a little bit less intrusive in my face, and certainly a lot easier to set up. I'm still doing a couple more experiments, but I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the suggestions folks had made. Certainly the distance of the mic needing to be closer so you get good audio quality from my voice. Several folks asked about what about a lav or a lapel mic. Now I actually have one of those from Rode, and I use that when I'm out recording in the field. I just pipe it right into my iPhone. Works really well. I've tried it here in the studio, and I've got a couple of challenges with it. First is the A6000, which I'm talking to. As nice as a camera it is, it doesn't have an audio input, and so I wanted to run the lav mic directly into the camera. That didn't work out so well. I tried running it directly into my Mac, and I need like a preamp, or I need something else to boost the signal, because the audio was just still too low, even with some audio post-processing. Now, folks might be thinking, well, what about recording it to a separate device? Like I have a Zoom recorder. I use that sometimes for recording longer form audio. I could do that, but that kind of gets into the second side of my requirements for my setup. When I'm recording here in the studio, I really need to have the video feed, the audio feed, and what's on the screen all record at the same time and go into the same tool. I'm using ScreenFlow to do the majority of my video work. And when I'm doing 2, 3, 4 videos a week, time is of the essence. And yes, I can line up audio tracks if I have a separate audio recorder. But that takes time. ScreenFlow is not designed for that, so it's not like a Final Cut where it's a single click, or I think Adobe Premiere does the same thing. And I have Final Cut as well, and I use that to produce Photographers in Cars. It's a multicam show. But there's overhead involved in that tool as well, and it doesn't record from devices live. It's not like a live streaming type platform. So all those things added up, I'm back to this mic. Now, the thing that I'm going to try is two things. One, I've got this little platypod here, and I used this. I've just got it recently, and I've started to use it, out for secondary angles and so forth in the field. I'm thinking about, what if I just put that right here in front of me, and then the mic stood up on it. I'll see how that works, because cable management might be a challenge, and from past experience, having the mic closer to my hand, sometimes I'll thump the desk or something, and even with the shock mount, that creates some noise. But I've also got one other thing that I've just recently got. I'm going to reach down here and grab it. This beastie, which is a mic stand. It's really designed for music, for bass drums, for amplifiers. And I'm going to try using this on the desk. I'm going to get this out of here because it's actually kind of heavy. It's a really strong weighted bass. I needed that to hold the mic. The mic is, maybe 2/3 of a pound, maybe a pound. And so it needs to have a counterweight. So I'm thinking I'll put the base of this mic stand off camera, and there's a boom arm. If I can have that come in from where the camera's coming in and float, roughly here, then my hands will be free. I won't be worrying about hitting this, and I can show off other gear. Like when I was trying to show this platypod, it would have been nice to hold it up over here. It's challenging with the boom arm where it is. I did some experiments with this boom arm on that side. You may have noticed that in a couple of videos. It was okay. It still was a little bit clunky. I didn't like how the microphone sat in the frame. So took the plunge. I bought this other boom stand. I'm gonna give that a shot and see how that fares. So again, I want to thank everyone for keeping me honest, giving me constructive feedback, telling me when the quality is dipping and when it sounds okay. And that's going to do it for this vlog. We'll see maybe in the next video or so, we'll see a change in the mic setup, and hopefully with continued good quality. Thanks again. My name is Scott Davenport, and happy shooting.